Citizens United versus the Federal Election Commission was a landmark United States Supreme Court case in which the court held in a controversial 5-4 decision that the First Amendment prohibited the government from restricting independent political expenditures by corporations and unions. In essence, money is considered part of free speech, and therefore it is protected by the Constitution.
Discussing with me is Paul Blumenthal, senior writer at the Sunlight Foundation, and Seton Motley, president of Less Government. Gentlemen, thank you both for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Now, do you think that this ruling could have come at a more perfect time? Because it was the ruling came in 2011, which happened to be a midterm election year, and that really let us see the impact that it had. I mean, 4 times the spending that we saw in the last midterm election. That's not a small feat.
Well, it's certainly not a small feat, and what's especially worrying about it is the increase in the lack of disclosure. I mean, you have so many groups coming in and spending tens of millions of dollars in our elections, and we really don't know where that money is coming from. And it really goes against a lot of the principles that we have in this country towards transparency, and even against the ruling, the Citizens United ruling that Anthony Kennedy wrote, where he affirmed that transparency and disclosure are very important for our democracy.
I'm happy you mentioned that, because that's true. In the opinion for the majority, he thought that if anything could save the fact that there might be a huge flow of cash into this, it's that, you know, the people would now be enabled to make wise judgments when they go to vote, because everything would be transparent and disclosed. And yet we saw the exact opposite thing happen. So how is it that we can defend Citizens United if we have no idea where the money's coming from?
The only better thing that could have happened with Citizens United if it happened sooner. I do not see this enamel with transparency with regard to the First Amendment being practiced. The last person I want to be responsible to reporting to on my practicing my First Amendment rights is the government, which is from whom I'm being protected with regard to my First Amendment rights. Money is speech.
A super PAC, or Super Political Action Committee, is an organization to which corporations, unions, and other organizations can donate freely. The difference between PACs and super PACs is that super PACs cannot coordinate with individual candidates, but they can support viewpoints that align with those candidates. There has been a significant rise in the number of super PACs since the Citizens United decision. Also, a majority of large donations, over $200,000, have come from wealthy individuals and large corporations that have a personal stake in the election. For example, Crossroads GPS is a conservative super PAC run by Karl Rove, former senior advisor to the most recent Bush administration. Crossroads ran many negative ads against President Obama, such as,
President Obama's agenda promised so much.
We must help the millions of homeowners who are facing foreclosure.
Promise broken. 1 in 5 mortgages are still underwater.
If you are a family making less than $250,000 a year, you will not see your taxes go up.
Broken. Obamacare raises 18 different taxes.
If you like your health care plan, you'll be able to keep your health care plan.
Broken. Millions could lose their health care coverage and could be forced into a government pool.
Today, I'm pledging to cut the deficit we inherited by half by the end of my first term in office.
Broken, because he hasn't even come close. We need solutions, not just promises. Tell President Obama to cut the deficit and support the New Majority Agenda at newmajorityagenda.org.
Priorities USA is a liberal super PAC that was co-founded by former Obama campaign official Bill Burton. The PAC raised most of its July 2012 money from 8 individuals, 2 unions, and 7 law firms, which was made possible by the Citizens United decision. Priorities USA worked to collect and spend money to produce positive and negative political advertisement to garner support for President Obama. Like Crossroads GPS, Priority USA created many attack ads like this.
Behind these doors, Mitt Romney calls half the American people
the Taliban government. We believe that they're victims.
Victims? Behind these doors, middle-class families struggle, and Romney will make things even tougher, raising taxes by up to $2,000 to give multimillionaires a $250,000 tax break.
I'll never convince them. They should take personal responsibility.
And Mitt Romney will never convince us he's on our side. Priorities USA Action is responsible for the content of this advertising.
One major donor was the CEO of DreamWorks Animation, Jeffrey Katzenberg, who donated $3 million. So the man that brought you this...
Well, I didn't want to say nothing, but I got this twinge in my neck, and when I turn my head like this, look, ow, see?
Who's hungry? I'll find us some dinner.
I'll get the firewood.
Hey, where you going? Oh, man, I can't feel my toes. I don't have any toes. I think I need a hug.
Also helped indirectly fund Obama's campaign. A primary donor to the Crossroads GPS PAC was Harold Simmons, the billionaire owner of Contran Corporation, who also controls 5 public companies traded on the New York Stock Exchange. Leading up to the 2012 election, Simmons donated over $19 million to Crossroads GPS.